I was straight tripping. I came here with a mission. All right, we're in here. I got the account. Well, morning, Degens.
Morning, Degens.
Welcome to Couch Talk.
We got a special guest today.
Dude, super special guest. Been hyped on this talk for like the past week now. 4ndreas, one of the OGs, one of the he's got his own Discord. I'll let him talk more about that. You know, he's a musician getting ready to drop some of his music as an NFT, and we're here to talk about that.
Yeah, some real revolutionary stuff when it comes to the music industry. We'll get a quick dive into.
Dude, so stoked to have you here, man. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah.
Excited.
Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
back.
sure.
Musician or whatever you want to, whichever way you want to take it. Musician and crypto, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
Bring it all together.
For sure. Yeah, so obviously my name is Andreas. I'm an artist, kind of across the board. I do a lot of different things. I would say primarily music, but also dabble in visual arts, doing different design. Really love using Photoshop and you know, Illustrator and programs like that. Dabble in some video and really love photography. That's always definitely been a passion of mine. But yeah, kind of across the board, always been passionate about the arts. Went to an art school for college, was doing music all throughout. Recently moved to California last year from New York City. So yeah, out in Cali now.
Way to go.
Damn, a real quick side note, you noticed a super serious vibe change from, were you in the city in New York?
Yeah, like during COVID, you're saying?
Or just in general? Because I always hear like, what is that saying? It's like, leave New York before you turn into like a fucking asshole or something. And then it's like, don't stay in San Francisco for too long because it'll make you soft or something. So it's something like that.
It goes along, dude.
There's a few sayings out there, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, New York is home. I was born and raised in New York, grew up a little bit outside of New York City, and then spent a lot of my adult life in the city. Was just kind of ready for a change.
Yeah.
And no more winter.
Oh, dude. Isn't that the
No
stunner
kidding.
right here? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But yeah, that's a little bit about me. Big art guy, but got into crypto and NFTs and kind of saw the power of everything and really excited to kind of launch my first project and, you know, continue meeting people like you guys and building with everyone, because I think it's been something that I've been looking for a while. I think being an artist, and you know, there's a lot of gatekeeping that happens in the music industry. So kind of realizing the freedom that crypto and NFTs allows your, you know, artistic self to have, it's been kind of like life-changing for me, honestly.
Yeah, that's sick.
Not, you know, it's been really big for me. So yeah, I'm super excited to keep creating and keep building and finally be able to value my art how I see fit, and not, you know, how another, you know, company or institution, legacy systems see fit.
Dude, that's a valid point right there, you know, and that's just bringing so many different, you know, pieces to the conversation. You know, the like the freedom that you have as an artist to create, and like on top of like, you know, whatever the smart contract can do, you can get rewarded on. And you know, that's kind of what makes it unique as well. So there's not only artistic levels to it, but there's like technical levels to it that make it unique. And that's like the space and the tech that everyone's like zooming about now too, you know?
Oh yeah. And like just especially with like the NFT platform in general, like how you can assign like royalties to it, it's wild. Like,
yeah,
if anybody knows anything about Prince as a musician, I mean, he was all about the musician, the creator owning their work. Like this is a move that he'd be stoked on. You know,
Prince would have loved NFTs for sure.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, without a doubt.
Those NFTs.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Me do one of those for sure.
Some purple
No,
guitars.
but let's talk about what's like made you want to say, okay, you have a lot of different avenues, you know, as an artist, photography, you know, I'm editing, you do a lot of different stuff. You're a multifaceted artist. what made you want to choose music and combine that with NFTs, you know?
Yeah, I think it just felt like the right thing to do first. Because for the last, I would say 5 years, that's been my like primary output, I would say.
Yeah.
And probably people that know me as an artist know me as a musician. And it's I would say my favorite medium, to create in. So that's kind of why I went that route. And because um, like things that I touched on before, like things like Spotify and getting playlisting just weren't working for me. And being an independent artist who doesn't have a large budget to, to create this like larger campaign, and kind of get that notoriety and that attention, it felt right as the first thing to do. And yeah, I think that the way that I saw things going with music and how NFTs and crypto kind of opened my eyes to the freedom, is why I wanted to go that route first. It just felt right.
It's kind of click, felt natural for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely an industry that's, NFTs in general, but music specifically can afford to grow a lot from, NFTs.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's cool
I
you're
mean, we
following
were
your passion too, man.
Yeah.
That's
No,
something that a lot of
appreciate
people don't have the courage to do, you know.
Dude.
I would
Yeah.
definitely surf professionally if I was fucking good enough.
Yeah, dude.
But hey, if
I mean, shit, you could sell surfing videos as NFTs.
Come
There's
on.
no,
He's
there's
on.
no,
I think
there's no limitation to it. It's really,
Yeah.
it's
Dude.
really like whatever you want to do, right? And that's what I was excited about. And like to your point about the royalties, I think it's like if you produce and write a song and let's say it gets like 1 million Spotify streams, you're looking at like a few $1,000, and that's getting millions of streams is hard to do. So just being able to set up some, maybe if you're using one of these platforms and setting a royalty towards it, if that person sells it again, you're getting paid. And I recently saw some videos. I think it was Swiss Beats who was talking about it. Just like in traditional art, like paintings as such, if you sell a piece to, let's say, like a gallery or a collector, and they resell it, you're not getting a piece of that secondary,
Sure.
And as the artist, it feels like you should get something from there. And
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, it just feels like NFTs and this whole movement is putting value back on art and like self-expression, and that's what's like so revolutionary for me.
And rewarding those who create that art as opposed to those who just facilitate like giving it out to
Sure.
corporate.
And those who want to support it, like if you support an artist and that artist gets more notoriety and their brand gets bigger, and you want to sell that piece, you're also getting some sort of monetary kickback from that. And that's
100%.
powerful.
That's a good
Dude,
point.
and the funny thing is, like, I've always appreciated art and stuff like that, or like cool buildings, which I think, architecture, if it's cool, I think it's like, yeah, it's bitching. But dude, like I found myself too. I was scrolling through like OpenSea. I'm like, dude, I just want to buy something that looks cool that I like. And bro,
Yeah.
the craziest thing about it, you start focusing on shit that you think is actually cool, and then you look in a month and the floor has gone up like 5x. It's the funniest thing, dude. It's like what you're saying, you still, even though you're just buying art, you're still kind of getting a kickback from it. Just creation.
Dude, seriously. And yeah, from what you say, as far as recognizing cool and, picking that out on the NFT side, I'm so new into the NFT game compared to a lot of different people who've been in like they were into NFTs before they were into like, DeFi,
Yeah.
which is like, there's no order to do it. There's no right or wrong way, but, at the end of the day, just about what makes you excited. And what I love to see is there's so even few like mainstream artists who are even choosing to like trailblaze this, because there's no one saying that, no, you shouldn't get a royalty. Like in Web3, it's like normal for a creator to get royalties. So like bringing that into, media and music is crazy. So let's talk a little bit about, your upcoming, album or NFT release. What was that like to make? How long did how did just, I have so many questions. Like,
Yeah.
how did
Let's
you
get into it.
start? How do you literally start as an artist? Like, say if I want to drop a song, I'm not a musician. I'm not going to drop any music, but like
he can actually rap though.
don't worry. No, no, I
Love to
can't.
hear it.
Not like, no, I can't. Hey, he leaked some music right before this, this
No, for
podcast,
sure.
and it was, I'm excited. I really truly can't wait to see what like an artist like this can do, on a platform that really has no bounds,
Yeah.
will reward you, which is sweet. So like, how did it start? How did you literally decide, how do I put my music on the blockchain?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been, making and releasing music for a while, and it like kind of changed the medium kind of there, like just like the means of output kind of changed. At first it was I was putting out stuff when there was like MediaFire, like MediaFire links and like just straight up downloads. And then it moved to, streaming obviously and getting stuff on those type of platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. Um, so that was always like second nature for me. I really learned how to do that, and kind of get do the artwork and get everything situated on that end. So it was kind of just transferring where it was going. But in terms of creation, um, I had been like trying to take it slow and not just jump right into things and release something just to release something. I really wanted to learn as much as I possibly could about the NFT space as well as the community, and get a little bit more into DeFi, as you were saying, just to kind of just be knowledgeable, kind of what in a holistic way. And so I started like really paying attention in like July, I would say,
Yeah.
and I was making different
Start paying
things.
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like things sparked my interest because for a while I was like, this method that I'm going about things isn't working. Like putting music on Spotify, like I have a lot of music on Spotify and streaming platforms. Um, and that was always kind of my thing. I just had this like big output I would create all the time and I would just kind of release and not think too much about it, because I think artists get caught in holding their art like it's their baby. And for me, I really practice getting rid of that, and just kind of letting go, creating stuff until you think that's fun and putting it out into the world. So I was creating, from July up until now, just different things, testing what I really wanted to do. I was doing, I made a generative project, I scrapped it. I made like a PFP project, I scrapped that. I did a bunch of different things. And then I was like, you know what, like I think I need to take it to music because that's what kind of like brought me here. And yeah, so I would, I was putting way too much pressure on it for sure. I was like, this is my first NFT, like I really need to make something cool. So for a few months I was creating stuff and just felt like it wasn't good enough type of vibe. And then
It'll never feel good enough.
no, I know.
It will
And
never
that's
feel
going
good
back to what I said, like practicing letting go. I was like falling back into that like bad practice. So I think it was December 12th. I remember the file date. December 12th, which is, oh wow, it's a month ago.
Yeah.
December 12th, I sat down and I was like, fuck it. I was like, I'm going to make something, and whatever this becomes, I'm going to make it my first, drop. And yeah, I as similar to like letting go, I've been practicing just being as vulnerable as possible in my music, because I think for a while when you make music that's rooted in like hip hop and pop and R&B, it's easy to like get lost in kind of just like braggadocious type of things.
for sure.
And I in the last couple of years have been like practicing letting that go as well. So I just wrote like, as vulnerable and as personable as possible, to a beat that I made, because I also like produce for myself as well. And yeah, recorded it right here in this room.
Yeah,
Just
dude.
like, you know, laid down. I always start with melody, so I laid down like the keys type of like Rhodes keyboard that you hear, and then went to drums, and then yeah, just set up the mic. I like to freestyle and just like let some melodies run, and then I'll listen back and like place the words in, and then do another take that's more of a finalized version. And yeah, went from there. Got people's, like you said, I have a Discord server for the brand that I'm creating, and I get people's feedback there. You know, I was working on the song like live in video chat a few different times, just getting people's feedback. So that's how the creation went, and then from there I did, you know, a few iterations of the artwork in Photoshop. Finally landed on something that feels right, like the other day. So now
So
everything's pretty much
it took
complete.
almost a month to pick, the visual.
Yeah, that usually happens for me. I'll go back and forth. I'll make like a few different things
Hmm.
and land on something that I like the most. And again, I was overthinking it, you know, because like there feels like this pressure of like it's my first drop and it needs to
Yeah,
be right. But again, it got to the point where I was like, all right, like you just need to make something. There's a whole song that's coming with this, you know, it's
yeah,
not just the visual.
yeah.
So that's kind of the process from start to finish. And happy to be, you know, completed. I had my friend who's been a really long time friend of mine who also makes music. You know, he mixed and finalized it, as well as some other people in the Discord had some, you know, edits because we were doing it live again, like just bringing everyone in and kind of doing it as
Community. Yeah,
a community, yeah, and just getting people's feedback because I've been trying to get out of the echo chamber of, since I do all of these different, you know, pieces of the puzzle, just getting everyone's feedback and seeing other ideas and how I can implement those, and yeah, take that feedback.
That's sick. Yeah, you mentioned about becoming more vulnerable and opening yourself up to criticism and peer review is tough to do sometimes. So I think a lot of people are going to watch this and end up making some stories of their own, some music NFTs of their own,
I love
just
it.
because it takes a lot of confidence to put yourself out there like that. And
Yeah,
yeah, but that was really insightful. That's cool, man. Someone's gonna watch this and they're gonna be like,
dude.
dude, I'm trying to be like that
Yeah.
guy.
And I
hope
mean,
so, man.
you bring up a good point. There's a fine line uh, that you could walk between, shelling out, content and just hoping one will stick, as opposed to really trying to deliver and bring in a, community behind the project.
Yeah.
If you didn't take any feedback, it takes you half the time to make a song, or, if you're just only taking in, one person's insights, not bringing a community together, and that's what makes it like truly, Web3. And that's what, like, not even just like how literally you're dropping your music, but how it's created, you know?
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to, you know, because there's a lot of people that also create music in the Discord server, and a lot of those people are, my IRL friends. So I'm excited to kind of like show them this new way of of putting out their art, because yeah, like traditionally, obviously, in terms of making any money in Spotify, you know, others are more successful than others, but it it's difficult, you know, to make a living off of like streaming in this day and age. It's really really hard. And the fact that you know, I'm not like trying to focus too much on sales or anything for my first one, but if I sell out this project, there'll be 26 editions, essentially copies. If I sell out this project, it will be just a little bit more than I've ever made in music altogether.
Yeah.
So like
Crazy.
that right there, I really want to show. Even if I sold half, you know, I would be super hyped. Just because like in a day you can, or however long it takes, you could do that amount off of one song without going the traditional route of the streaming platform. So I really want to be kind of like a foundation for my other artist friends to kind of follow suit and start releasing their music in this way, because you know, I want I want everybody around me who's like creating like that to also, you know, eat in that type of way, you know.
100%. What you know, you kind of bring up a good little segue. Do you have any you know, advice from, you know, maybe a smaller musician or artist that's looking for that, you know, step, and maybe why NFTs is good for them and why it's better than maybe traditional platforms that you've tried yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think, look, like you can use them in tandem, right? Like you can marry the Web 2 and the Web 3.
Yeah, it's not one or the other. They can.
Yeah, it can be all together, you know, like you can use Web 3 and selling NFTs to create some cool merch to, you know, then sell IRL, or you can, you know, fund whatever it may be. Maybe you want to do an event that you want to fund, and you use that. But in terms of advice, I would say just jump in really and start studying the space, start listening to, you know, different Twitter spaces. I did that like as soon as I started, and really just try to soak in as much game as possible. You know, mint something so you know what that process is like, or buy something on OpenSea, and don't feel so you know, like scared of the technical process that comes with NFTs, because there are a lot of different platforms where you can kind of go direct. Like Zora is probably one of my favorite platforms where it's kind of open and you can mint that, you know, anyone can go on there and mint anything that they want. There's platforms like Manifold, which are doing, you know, you could do a custom contract that you know, and you can have your own little site and mint it from there. You can go straight to OpenSea. Granted, it's on there, not to get too technical, it's on their smart contract, which is what I'm doing for my first one, only because it just feels right for the first thing, rather than, you know, creating, because custom contracts can be pricey.
And buggy.
And it just feels,
and vulnerable.
yeah, and buggy, and you know, with music and you know, like there's a music as piece and a visual piece, so it makes it a little bit more complicated.
Well said.
But yeah, like I would say just kind of like jump in and
for you to use, you know, as far as music NFTs.
for sure.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's just about getting in and getting in discords and chatting with people and meeting different people. Like I've met more people, I would say, in the last like 6 months, and like befriended more people than I probably have since college, you know, like, and that's because you're just around so many people. But with this, everyone's down to help, you know, everyone's down to answer questions and like give any game. That's one of my favorite things about here is no one's like gatekeeping anything. Obviously there's some weird shit that happens in the space, but for the most part, it's pretty open, and people are transparent about, you know, I did this and this is how you can do it as well, and trying to help the next artist kind of do their own thing as well.
I won't drop his name, but I had a pretty interesting conversation with a dude like 3 months ago who fucking blew up in the space, and blew up in like 10 months.
Just comment if you want to know his name. I'll respond. Comment.
And
We'll link it.
Yeah, well, I'll link it.
Anyway, he's an artist that just did normal ass art, like put it up in galleries.
Not normal ass.
Yeah,
like
not
traditional. You know,
no,
traditional.
Yeah.
wasn't a comment on his actual artwork, just how he sold it.
Yeah.
Auctions and galleries and things like that. He wasn't doing so hot. Early 2021, he started putting shit on OpenSea and other, you know, marketplaces. Blew up like crazy, and all it took was him getting into some of these discords, learning how the process works, talking to some people, and then it just caught on. And I mean, the floor for this stuff is like 0.2 ETH, you know, it's not like it's like 5 ETH, or like you don't have to 10x, you know what I mean? True. But it's pretty,
that's still good, you know, like 0.2 is, I think I like equate everything to Spotify streams. For something that's just like, I've been like programmed
It's a
kind of.
good, apples to apples comparison,
Yeah, it's like point two is like, to me, that's amazing. Like,
Like
and
how many streams do you need to get 0.2 like USD?
I,
You know,
I think
Oh,
point two
true.
right now is like what, like 900, I would say, somewhere around there, 800, 900.
Yeah.
You would need a lot of streams.
yeah,
What an interesting conversion that is.
In like probably the, if a million is like and this is if you own all of the music, that's like a big caveat, like
yeah.
most people don't,
Warner Bros owns it,
own. Yeah,
or
like most people
Universal.
don't own it, or they're splitting it with a producer or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
So if a 1 million stream is like a few grand, um, then yeah, you can kind of do the math there on
that's
how much
wild.
it would be.
That's so
Yeah,
wild.
So you're blowing up if you just, you know, like comparatively, you'd have to blow up on a traditional platform as opposed to
for sure. And
for,
like,
for the same like monetary return, or like
yeah,
for a similar monetary return if you have all the rights to your music and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
but the
yeah,
potential is there for an artist to, whether it be music or traditional painting or drawing or whatever it is, like it's there for
for sure.
for all these artists to actually survive and make a great living doing what they
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
I think it could go like, so I'm really interested to see like where the space evolves over the next, year or so. Cause
Where do you think it's going to evolve over the next year?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that you're going to be able to kind of like NFT really much of anything. Like, I'm interested to see, concert tickets become NFTs. I'm interested in like, sports tickets becoming NFTs, or, you know, any sort of thing like that that bridges the IRL and the virtual world, and the crypto and NFT world. I'm really interested in that because I think, especially from the outside looking in, when I talk to people who aren't in the space, they don't get it, because what gets to the masses is just like the profile picture.
Yeah.
And I love the profile picture, like I never bash the profile picture thing, because I think it's cool, like having, especially with the rise in, like going into the metaverse and having something that you can have to represent yourself. I think that's super cool and super powerful,
PFPs are sick, dude.
Ain't no doubt about it.
for sure. I
I
think
think couch talk about PFPs.
Yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of brands are going to jump into the space, as we see already. I think there's definitely going to be like bigger adoption in terms of the masses. I'm interested to see what Coinbase platform does, in terms of onboarding people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think artists are going to migrate here just because there's a chance of actually making a living off of what you love to do, rather than, for someone like me who has always created a bunch of different things, but I've always had like a full-time job, and I'm obviously fortunate to have gone to college and got a degree to be able to like get something that supports me in that way.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm interested to see that, and I hope that as many artists as possible can come into the space, and use platforms like your server and my server to kind of come in and get onboarded and learn more, not just in NFTs and DeFi, and how you can really invest and make some money for yourself in this space.
Yeah, dude, no waiting. Your Discord was it's one of my favorite for sure. We're gonna link it below. I mean, and of course, you bring up another good aspect. One of our main goals at Degenerate Capital is to be that bridge, between
For sure.
people who aren't involved, and to really kind of get them up to speed and get them to have their wits about them.
We'll show you the way.
We'll show you the way. And just with like no waiting, like there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of answers, there's a lot of feedback. Like you're always finding helpful people in the space, and that's what it's about. So
That's the thing. It'll always be a little scary, like getting into a new space. Like think about first day of school at a new school.
come on,
Scary thing.
just like
But
crypto.
yeah.
Crypto's like a brand new school.
yeah.
And this has like money attached to it, so you're like,
Yeah.
I don't want to lose my money. Like,
And money's
For sure,
very
yeah.
emotional for a lot of people,
Yeah,
especially if they fucking
sure.
worked hard for it
Come on.
or didn't grow up with a lot of it. But
Well said.
coming into these discords, whether it be No Waiting or ours, it's like we're all really cool, we're all really welcoming. And I feel like most crypto discords out there are the same way.
I think there's a few out there that you can definitely learn a lot from. I love coming into Degen Cap just because I like learning more on the DeFi side. And I feel like I have a really good grasp on the NFT side, but when it comes to DeFi, I'm still like really interested, like, bridging the Phantom, which thank you again for saying that.
Comment
but yeah, like shit like that, like imagine, I feel like that's so like far-fetched in the real world, like imagine sending like someone who you just met really, not too long ago, like some money so they can get set up on something. I thought that was like, I think that's like super cool, and I'm excited to keep exploring different chains and learning more. Would love to, my goal is to release NFTs on any and all chains,
just the more access you have,
for sure, just to explore and experiment and try different shit and see what works and see what doesn't.
You throw enough shit at the wall, it's not a mistake.
It's not a mistake, dude. With
sure.
these too, man. Yeah, for sure. I mean, with different, networks, there's a lot of different competition, and it's just like another market.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like the emergence of all these new networks, or how these networks take off, and what kind of gets traction and what kind of fades away. Because it seems every network right now has a shitload of hype behind it, and it all seems pretty real. So it'll see which one.
Let's see. Might be a few.
I think there will be.
There's got to be a few.
There will for sure be a few.
Which few? Who knows? But I kind of want to wrap this up, and I do want to end it on some of your next drop. Give us some dates. Give us the details. Tell people, plug your stuff here. Tell people how they can mint and what.
So since I'm doing a collection of 26, I'm gonna go. I'm going straight to OpenSea, just because again, like with the audio and with the visual aspect, I would have loved to go to a platform like Zora, but I would have had to mint 26 individual NFTs. Whereas on OpenSea, it's free to mint. They're just taking a percentage, which is 2.5. But then you can set your royalties on top of that. So dropping the song with its accompanied visual on January 19th, which is next Wednesday. Not so sure on time, but it will be 0.05 ETH. There'll be 26 editions, keeping one for myself, and giving one away via Twitter. Nice. So you can follow me on Twitter, I would say, so you can get in on the giveaway.
We're gonna link it below for you. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, _Andreas, and Andreas is spelled 4ndreas. And I'm excited to keep going, and I really want to do. We'll probably do a profile picture collection for No Waiting, which is like the company that I'm building, focusing, music design, apparel, obviously NFTs, all rooted in Web3. So that's kind of the next step for me, as well as maybe some other Andreas collections. Like I'd love to do something with photography. So I'm excited, and obviously thank you guys for having me on. I'm excited to keep building with you guys and keep chatting and learning with you guys.
Yeah, man, future is gonna be exciting for sure. I'm staying tuned though for the 19th.
Stoked. We ain't going anywhere. Don't leave the couch. If you ain't talk about crypto, just plug in. Our Discord is below. Andreas' Discord, No Waiting, is down below. His Twitter.
Check it
Stay
out.
updated. He's giving away a free NFT version of a song. So let's get to it, y'all. What else do you have to do other than do what I just said? And maybe
let's go.
Like
say what's up.
Say what's up. Like, come on. You guys can talk to him. Like, you see him on the screen. You watch this video. Come say what's up to him in our Discord.
Yeah.
Let's go, y'all. Couch Talk. That's a wrap.
Peace.
Go, bye.
I was straight tripping. I came here with a